Hello. Today I thought I would try my first YouTube video, and the point today is to try to open up successfully without destroying a McMurdo FastFind 220. I'm sorry, this is a 210 with an expired battery. And as best I can tell, when you pop this cap and pull on it, it breaks a little plastic mounting point in here. However, there is a Phillips head screw that seems to be able to be accessible. So I thought what I would do is try to unscrew that Phillips head screw and see if I could get to the antenna and battery arrangement in here without activating it, without destroying it. After messing around with a number of different types of bits, I finally came upon a new Phillips head bit that seems to work. I can just ease it out of here. I like to try not to damage this screw if I possibly can, but it may be too late for that. Unfortunately, when the batteries die in these things, it's rather expensive to get them replaced. The purchase price of this device is something on the order of $200, and the battery replacement cost is about $114, something in that neighborhood. And ordinarily, that wouldn't, be a problem for a piece of emergency gear, but I use this primarily for bicycling, and I don't know. It just seems hard to justify spending half the purchase price on a in-service, a shop battery. All right, now when you pull this off, you have a antenna curled up in here. There seems to be a piece of tape that holds it. Hoping that, that will cause it to spring some, but you can stop it with your finger. All right. So it seems as though it will be possible to put the antenna back in. It is a piece of spring steel that unfolds. I think all I need to do is pull it up over this. And it just wraps around nicely. Okay, and that's what it looks like when it's completely unfurled. I've never seen one of these things unfurled before, but now we have. Okay. Now, it also, when you pull off that cover, exposes the on button, which begins the process of broadcasting, which is clearly not something we would want to do right now. More of these screws to get to the battery itself. I'm hoping that the battery is a fairly easily sourced lithium battery or series of battery cells that can be glued together, soldered together. Sometimes they require welding, which is not something I can do. But lithium batteries are kind of an understood technology these days. I'm hoping that that's not the problem. It does seem that these are either Phillips head or very close to Phillips head screws. They may not actually be security screws. Or I may be using the wrong size Phillips head, perhaps. So let's see what happens here. Okay. The license is glued to the lip here. I'm just trying to release it without totally destroying it. There we go. Oh, good. There's a phone number here to cancel the alert if you accidentally trip it. I hope I do not wind up accidentally tripping it. Okay. So there is a seal. And it makes contact, the antenna makes contact with the internal circuitry via just a little spring clip and a screw. The batteries have now become visible inside, and indeed they do look like two separate sets of lithium cell batteries. So we're going to slide this whole thing out and see what we can see. And that seems to come out quite nicely. Okay, so it seems as though there's this little foil piece that's attached with a screw. So there's a screw here, and that screw just holds down this piece of cut aluminum foil tape, just sort of holds it lightly in place. I think it's probably just enough to get it into the container. Just a little piece of rubber on the bottom to keep it from bouncing around. See if we can dig up a screwdriver. We got a nut on this thing? No, I don't really expect you to do that. Just trying to figure out how to get this out with the least amount of damage. Just pulling off this rubber piece is probably a good thing to try. It actually holds the two batteries together. I'll just cut it. There we go. That was easy. And then that battery slides out to that side. And the polarity is important to observe here. In this case, the two separate cells, the one nearest the integrated circuit is red at the top, and that battery's away. And further away to the outside of the card, the black is on the top. That's the end of that. No need to release this screw in the center. In fact, it just holds that piece of plastic, foam, shielding. I'm not sure what it does exactly. And that's all there is to this thing. There is not much here. A couple of large-scale integrated circuits. All surface mount technology, hard to see. And I'm going to see if I can find some batteries to replace this. A quick search of the internet has not yielded any batteries easily replaceable. They go to great lengths not to encourage this replacement for obvious reasons. They want you to return it to the service center to be fully tested, and they just don't sell batteries for individuals to replace. I can kind of understand it and don't necessarily even recommend that anybody else does what I'm doing here. But this does look like two separate lithium batteries. I believe I can even see the tabs separating the two batteries here. Probably 123s or something along those lines. Anyway, let's get into it and see what we can find. The listing on these are 6-volt lithium battery, 9.3 watt hours. I don't see any particular marking on the battery itself. But let's see what we can get these off completely. Yes. They are welded. I think these are 123As. I have to do a little research on that. But yeah, they are. Cells are welded together, as you can see, and then just taped together. Maybe I can source some batteries, put this thing back together. There you have it, though. I think if I can find the welded tabs, I can probably solder those tabs together on the outside, tape them to the outside, and certainly rewire the positive and negative leads back together. Shouldn't be too difficult. Now, let me see if I can find batteries. Well, the batteries have been harder to find than I'd imagined, but I finally did find a source. Interstate All Battery Center in Urbandale, Indiana, had LIT 0362s, which are CR 123As with tabs. And so just to see what that looks like, there are 123s with solder on tabs that have been welded to the batteries, and we'll make a pack out of those. I've been puzzling a little bit over how best to attach these contacts. I've also tested the battery voltage, and they are relatively new batteries. They have expiration dates of January 2026, so it looks like they were made early this year if they have a 10-year battery life. But again, I've been puzzling over how best to attach these, and I think what I'm going to do is use a piece of 14-gauge wire to run through here. Let's see what happens, though. Oops, it's probably not good for lighting. Tin this up a little bit. And tin this side a little bit. There we go. Let that cool. Trim it up. And the idea here will be to put these together. Make sure when you do this, if you do this, that you get positive to negative if you're making this battery pack exactly as I'm making it. But there you have it. That's what, oops, there you have it. That's what we're going to do. Fold it this way and